Well, greetings. Welcome to our CityRise podcast. Today we have a fairly new ministry, RU218, and a couple of the reps are here, Daniel and Blandon. So I'm just going to welcome you guys. Take a moment, introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your family, and then we'll jump into what is RU218.
I am Daniel Guillaume. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer for RU218, and I am married with 4 daughters and a 5th daughter on the way.
All right. And Blandon?
Hello, everybody. My name is Blandon Thomas. I am the Operations Director at RU218. I'm also married, been married to my beautiful bride for 10 years. We have 2 girls. So what me and Danny have in common besides ministry is being girl dads. So
there you go.
We're fully invested in that.
All right. Well, super. So how long has RU218 been around? What's the impetus with it?
Well, this actually started off with a conversation on the frustration of the lack of biblical literacy, biblical fluency, and leadership amongst our generation, the millennial generation, and then Gen Z. We noticed, and after hearing a very prominent speaker on statistics on the subject of the state of the church, we recognized that there are less millennials in comparison to generations before that were planting churches or being leaders at churches. There were less missionaries that were in our age group. So we recognized, out of our frustration in this talk, that millennials have really been consumers more than servant leaders in the church.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, when you just poll general people to get a pulse on where they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and if you ask millennials or Gen Zers if they're willing to serve inside of church, they say no.
Yeah.
And then you ask, well, why? And it's a lack of confidence. Well, I don't know if my gift is okay here, or I don't know if I can do the same way that Pastor Mark does it, or
Sure.
I don't know if I can teach a Bible study as well as Pastor Danny. So RU218 is a place where a proving ground, so to speak, for discipleship, so that people can test their skills, test their gifts to see if they are really equipped for that work of service.
Well, I guess I should ask a question. RU218, what does that mean?
Well, it came out of that conversation where we were talking about the state of the church, where we were just like, we really need to rise up and do something about this. Instead of being, to be honest, there's been millennials who've recognized the issue,
Right.
but haven't really been active in the solution. And we could talk about the problem on and on and on ad nauseum,
Right.
but if we're not doing anything about it, so it doesn't do anything. So we got the idea of rising up also from Nehemiah 2:18,
All right.
where Nehemiah just talks to his people, says, hey, there's an issue. Let's rebuild the temple. Let's rebuild the wall.
All right.
And the idea was to rise up and get this work done.
All right. You just alluded to it. Okay, there's a challenge or a problem existing. So how do you engage? Obviously, you can't just say, okay, Gen X, meet me on the corner. So what's the practical step? What do you do? How do you do that?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different practical steps. So there was already an organization that Danny was running called Team Jesus. So that's an entry point as well. It's a Bible study, and TEAM is an acronym for theology, evangelism, apologetics, and missions. So already we're teaching people about the core fundamentals of the faith. Right now, we're going through a series on sanctification. We just came out of a series on worldview. So right there, it's an opportunity for them to teach, to understand the fundamentals, to allow themselves to be more biblically literate, for discipleship to happen and be more confident. Also, we want to have these service nights, right, where we can showcase people's giftings and their talents and their skill sets, whether that be hospitality, whether that be preaching, whether that be worship. And so at the end of each month, we want to help showcase those talents, where we call it emeritus nights.
Okay.
We've actually had
Exhibitous nights. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Exhibitous.
Emeritus sounds nice too, though.
Yeah, it does. Exhibitous
That's later.
nights.
That's my
Exhibitous.
age group.
Yeah.
We actually just challenged our director of missions to deal with local missions. And one of the things that we just came up with, which I think you'll be glad about, is that we're going to be partnering with CityRise Missouri City with our days of food distribution. So I'm like, okay, well, that's something that's already being done,
Right.
and has already been organized. Well, we could just come alongside and be there to bolster, support, with prayer, with handling the food, and on and on and on.
Okay. Well, again, we have partners who do everything from anti-trafficking to refugee work to food security. I'm trying to think of a niche here. If they were to say, well, we would love someone to come help us understand Gen X or whatever, how to relate more effectively. I mean, would you guys be open to some type of a seminar discussion? What would that even look like?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think getting the word out to especially, let's say, older generations, because they are the ones who are discipling
Right.
millennials and Gen X, and millennials discipling Gen X and
Gen Z.
Gen Z, sorry, Gen
There
Z
you
and Alpha,
Yeah.
right? Going out to churches, doing seminars, even announcements at churches or whatever, to say, hey, you have a group of people here. The statistics say that you're not really doing anything in church.
Right.
It's not common here, and we can help show you what the problem is and how to engage these generations to become involved.
Do you guys have a web presence, Facebook? I mean, if people were to say, hey, I'd like to connect, or is it just more personal email that way to get started?
We just started our Instagram page. We are working on the website,
Yeah.
and we do have an email. It is RU218@info.org. Is that correct?
No, that's very correct. But we're also, what the millennial generation, what Gen Z, what Gen Alpha, what they're looking for is just an authentic connection, right?
Mhm.
A lot of times word of mouth is the best form
Yeah.
of connecting.
Yeah.
And so we've been seeing Team Jesus grow just by word of mouth. We also have a men's 5 a.m. daybreak Bible study prayer kind of situation that we're also a part of. And that's growing exponentially. And it's not because we're sending out invitations on social media
Right.
or email blasts. We're talking to people, right? And so anywhere, I mean, we think is good because it only started with the two of us. And now it's already expanded to about 10, 12 guys on there every morning,
All right.
I mean, life has proven that the culture will always vacillate, right?
Sure.
So we've been such a digital, social media heavy and prominent culture. And I think Gen Z and millennials are realizing, wait, we're not connecting anymore,
Right.
and they're feeling lonely.
Yeah.
So the new thing is, oh, let's connect again.
Yeah, the retro.
Right. Let's go retro.
In fact, driving here today, I'd never seen this before. Two ladies are actually jogging together, both of them looking at their phone while they're jogging. I'm thinking, why are you even together?
Right.
And that kind of is the phenomena.
Yeah.
Again, as people may be intrigued, and hate to put you on the spot, but is there like a good book or reference to say, this may be a good introduction to reaching this generation, or is it out there, or do you guys need to write it?
There are, I mean, I've seen some books. I haven't read them just yet. But honestly, just so that people can see the state of the church,
Mhm.
I would direct them to Barna Group.
Okay.
It's just a website where, as an
Surveys.
organization,
Mhm.
the organization will give you the state of the church. And they actually go, I think it's like every year they come out with a booklet on the state of the church.
Yeah.
If you just look and focus on what millennials are doing, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
And solutions, I think maybe we need to write the book.
Yeah, we could write a book. I mean, there are some good books out there, right? So I like the book Tactics by Greg Kokel.
Mhm.
I also like the book What is the Gospel by Greg Gilbert. Also Jim Berg's series on Created for His Glory, Change It to His Image.
Mhm.
I think those books really would connect at this time, even though they've been, written a while ago, to revisit those,
Yeah.
to say, listen, this is where you need to start. You need to start with the gospel. You need to start with where people are, what they need to do, how they're actually transformed, because people are looking for those answers,
Yeah.
right? And just saying, I'm going to say a prayer walking down an aisle is not good enough anymore,
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that younger people also are not against older, already proven information or books out there. They just want authenticity.
again, my background, Southern Baptist Convention, and it's been, well, a few years ago. It was 1997 to 2017, a pretty extensive study over a 20-year period. The convention baptized 7 million people, and yet attendance was flat.
Wow.
And so, again, to me, the heart of the issue is discipleship.
Yes.
What we've been called discipleship has been basically maybe increasing knowledge.
Right.
And so you got a lot of knowledgeable, disobedient Christians in many of our churches. And so coming back from overseas, that's something that maybe stuck out to me more since I was gone for 30 years, to realize that everybody knows the stories. They just don't believe you have to obey the teaching. So how do you put modern application into ancient directives? I mean, there really is nothing new under the sun.
Right.
But how do you say it in such a way that people realize this is more than me just checking boxes or filling in blanks?
A very good synonym for discipleship is apprenticeship.
Okay. Right.
And what we're trying to do with these Bible studies, these going out, and these services is not just be the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
We're training up teachers, and we're giving them the platform to teach. We're training up preachers, and we're giving them the platform to preach. So our idea is to equip, I'll say 3 E's: equip,
educate,
empower,
encourage.
Yeah.
We'll go with 4 E's.
4 E's and empower. So like even with our
we're dynamic.
With our service nights, we know that there are budding preachers who have opportunities to preach at their church. They may not be a senior pastor, but they may be associate pastor or an elder or a deacon. Sure. And we're going, okay, well, if you would like more opportunities to preach, let's give you that. Let's do that. But also let's help build you up and train you in that area. And you could also come alongside us and see how we're doing such and such. And we will also connect you to other people who are wise, who are experienced and true, to do the same. Right. Even at our Team Jesus Bible studies, Blandon has been the main teacher, but we are teaching everybody we're actually encouraging everybody to come up and teach a Bible study once a month or whatnot. So they all have an opportunity to teach. And the idea is to train them.
Sure.
So to be servant leaders. So not to just be educated, but to go, Ephesians chapter 4.
Right.
Christ gave these gifts to men for the equipping of the saints for the work of ministry.
The building, exactly. All right. So if someone's listening, this isn't an exclusive club. Do they have to be at a certain level to attend, to join? If they're just asking questions, seeking information, how do they do that?
You don't have to be at a certain level at all. As a matter of fact, we encourage all levels, all peoples to come. They could just get the information, and they can email us at RU218@info.org. And soon you'll see our Instagram and other social media platforms, and then we'll direct them to the website once that's finished.
All right.
If they wanted to see us in person, they can come any Sunday to CityRise, Missouri City. We'll be there. We'll be willing and welcome to talk to them about any subject that they want to talk about regarding discipleship. Also, Team Jesus meets every Tuesday at CityRise Missouri City campus. They're in Stafford in Missouri City, and they can come and join us there.
We'll be at CityRise Missouri City every Sunday. I have to be because I'm an associate pastor.
There you go. And you can find Missouri City's CityRise online, just CityRise / Missouri City. Maybe you can find it.
Yes.
It's not hard to find. All right. Well, what should I've asked? What would you want the listeners to hear before we sign off?
Oh, yeah. That's great questions.
All right. I've been practicing. All right. RU218. Again, if you're a listener, you may have another organization that you're plugged into, but maybe it's intriguing to bring alongside or to come alongside these young men and others who are really spearheading this to make an impact, not just on this generation, but generations to come. So great to have you guys. Appreciate you joining us online, and just pray the Lord's blessing upon all of you. Take care.